We were talking about DE&I, diversity, equity, and inclusion. Topic kind of got re-sparked by Elon and Mark Cuban squabbling over X.
Yes.
They were tweeting back and forth.
Is it called tweeting still? Like, what's the new name for X?
No one's saying Xing. That's. I think the verb is still tweeting, because I mean, X was just a bad branding move.
You think so?
The guy likes X. He likes the letter X. He's fascinated by X.
We'll see where it goes.
Since he bought it.
Okay. Anyway, back on
Anyway,
topic.
so I was saying that in today's most work environments, you can walk around your hair any way you want. If you want cornrows, if you want it down, if you want short. If you have like a different name, Tamika or something. No one's side-eyeing you. There's no one questioning that. There's no one questioning that there's a Tamika who's the CFO.
Allegedly.
Tamika also she's neurodivergent. She has ADHD. They accommodate that because they like the ideas that, her neurodivergence might provide her. And again, this is ideal DEI. But then there's the other side, the argument to it that says, well, no, what's happening is you're ignoring the best candidate to
fill a quota.
So if you get checked, if someone goes down your list, you have your black people and your brown people and it all in place.
Exactly. I guess that's what the perception is for a lot of people.
Right. So. Thanks, man. I'm gonna try to make it a lot less rare of an occurrence. I was just saying this is a rare occurrence in the comments.
I know.
No
you
promises.
See what time it is.
Right, man.
It's the kids' fault.
We got little kids. But I'm not going to promise a cadence. But I'm going to stop ignoring live on Instagram. It's been stupid for me not to.
2024.
2024. We going live. But so in case you haven't picked up on it, our topic right now is diversity, equity, and inclusion. So DEI stands for. How would you define each of those acronyms?
Well, I'm gonna be honest. Mm-hmm. Like, I do not consider myself a DE&I expert.
Oh yeah, for sure.
By any means. And really, I mean, I feel like why are we talking? Of course, DE&I is super important to me. Everyone who looks like us,
mm-hmm. Right.
But more specifically, it's interesting because of the whole situation going on with Mark Cuban and Elon Musk on X. So just kind of, so I don't
say the irony of two rich white dudes going back and forth. I mean, it is what it is. Going back and forth on DE&I.
Right. Well, I mean, so yeah, I mean, I'm just interested in really trying to dissect what occurred, because maybe let's just show what.
Yeah, let's start with what kicked it all off.
Yeah, what happened?
So we're gonna jump to this camera.
What's T?
And so this is the tweet, the book. I mean, holy hell! Look at this, guys.
Okay, so before you go here, so what had happened was,
what do you think?
The president of Harvard University, the first black president, I think her name is Claudine Gay. Mm-hmm. She was the first black president of Harvard in 347 years of history.
Wow.
Yes, she was the first black president, and essentially some things came to light. A couple of things. It was one, they had some questions about her plagiarism, or not plagiarism. I'm sorry, that's incorrect.
No, that happened to his wife.
No. This is Claudine Gay.
Bill's wife.
This is Claudine Gay. They had some questions about her code of conduct and her, kind of perpetuating certain works as her own when they weren't. It just didn't quite live up to the standards of Harvard. Plus, they had a whole lot of turmoil on campus in October, right around when the war in Gaza really kicked out. Like they really, a lot of anti-Semitism.
College campus is ablaze, man.
Exactly. Was really like on the rise, I guess, in Harvard. So they say. Wasn't following this closely. I mean, I saw it, but I wasn't like super tuned in until this happened. So essentially what happened is this group of donors to Harvard basically raised hell and insisted that she, step down or, be fired. And so after a lot of pressure, she herself resigned. Okay, so then this Bill Ackman, who was one of the main people driving this initiative to, remove her from office, he posted this long, and we're not even going.
Let me go back to it. And so, yeah, he posted this.
Really explaining.
Yeah, you can paraphrase, but I'm going to just scroll to show y'all how ridiculously long this X is.
Did you even know that you could put stuff that long?
I learned when this tweet happened that you can tweet for that long. Maybe it's a special privilege tweet. I got kicked off Twitter. I don't know what happened. I got a new account. I clearly haven't tweeted enough to know I could tweet that much.
Wait, so is it still, like when you say you got kicked off Twitter, did you get kicked off X?
Yeah, I couldn't even use X. I had to make an entirely new account. I lost, which is probably a good thing. My last Twitter was, well, it was a recipe for being canceled one day. So, and I don't even have extreme opinions. I was a fucking kid with Twitter.
Hey.
So spoke my mind.
Right. Exactly. So anyway, this, definitely if you want to read the whole thing, go, check it out. It's a long thing, but paraphrase, this is his explanation of his support towards removing the president of Harvard. And then he goes on to say how diversity, equity, one of those systemic reasons that's pulling Harvard down, their quality down, is DE&I initiatives, right? So then here comes Elon.
And this is what set it ablaze. It's, okay. DEI is just another word for racism. Shame on anyone. Oh my gosh. As much as I love this guy and respect, I'm reading his book. It's this big. I should have brought it down. That's a stretch. And I get, if I was a straight white dude, I understand the frustration. And again, I'm not going to sit here and act like there was a Hispanic person probably promoted because they're probably
right.
But DEI had to get, y'all got to understand, it used to be legal to not include different groups in your hire. You used to be able to say, I don't want black folks, and it was just okay. You know why? It was a white man's country. So now you have this skew. And DEI was meant to correct it. There's some bad DEI out there, but the good DEI is trying to correct it. I think one big problem is the skew. It's like, okay, the workforce is full of this many white dudes. And you as a recruiter, you probably really are like, which who do I put in there?
Here's where I have an issue. Okay, so I think our daughter knows who Elon Musk is. He is essentially, I feel like, the main person that's leading us into our future.
Yeah, he's taking humanity to the next step.
And so, to me, for you to say a comment like this, so this guy, Bill Ackman, he goes to post this whole thing, right?
G says, "Hey, what's up, G?
What's up?" And Mook, what's up, Mook?
What up, Mook?
But he goes and posts this whole thing, and so for you to come and put this very simple, DEI is just another word for racism, to simplify DEI in a way where the masses can take that statement and they won't look into the layers. They won't look into the things that have worked.
These
about
poisonous
DEI.
comments all over Instagram. It's annoying. They take the headline and that's the argument.
And that's the
and
argument.
you cannot say nothing And that it's just like, no, that's what they want you to think type shit. It's like,
it's awful. I mean, it's just, to me, it's so incredibly disappointing.
Right.
I mean, considering like Elon Musk is a leader in how many organizations
that are not, that have to be diverse. It's big ideas. That's why I'm starting to feel like it's DEI being politicized. And yes, I'm sure maybe they found some, but because like I said, they keep saying just do it right, get rid of DEI, and so it's almost like the frustration is misplaced. But they're also missing this whole other aspect of DE&I, which is that black person had to even see that job post in the first place. There's a department making sure they, just like marketing, making sure they target different communities, diverse communities, to make sure they're catching those different ideas. It goes deeper than just let's hire black dudes, let's hire black girls. That's a double check marketing. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Well, and you know something I was thinking about. So obviously, I mean, I'm a huge supporter and benefactor of DE&I initiatives, right? But I wonder if like DE&I itself, just the phrase, is getting mixed up in the sauce of the execution.
Black Lives Matter. I think during the pandemic,
as it should.
It kind of it obviously, right?
As
but
it should.
It also, like, did I say weaponized it?
What I mean is the concept of diversity, equity, and inclusion. Should it really be a debate? Like, to say, like, what is diversity, equity, and inclusion? So diversity is diverse people, right? Like diverse people with different characteristics, people with different backgrounds, people with a diverse range of ideas.
Which is what it should be.
Which is what it should be. Equity is making sure that those diverse perspectives get treated fairly. What's wrong with that?
Because, like I said, straight white male shoes, you kind of see DEI as attack on white man.
Here's my point is, we are mixing up the results of DE&I initiatives with the mission. And so, like, what's wrong with diversity? Help me understand what's wrong with diversity. Help me understand what's wrong with equity. Help me understand what's wrong with inclusion. Inclusion is making sure that when you have a diverse range of perspectives, those people feel included. Like you can hire the token, but if they don't feel included, they're not going to bring their diverse
has to feel
perspective.
Yeah, like you need someone to train people not to walk by Ashley and ask what's in her hair.
Don't touch my hair.
Y'all seen, I don't know if y'all seen the clip of old boy having a funny conversation. Oh, it was Tom Brady and what's his name? I forgot now, whatever. But he touched his head, swatted his hand, and was like, don't touch my hair, dog. And then they just picked the conversation back up like normal. I forgot who it was.
Yeah.
But I guess these are the points Mark tried to make. I think Mark Cuban tried to make them without sounding too liberal biased, because that's like his reputation. So he went the it's better for business route.
Right.
Which, in essence, that's true. So where is the disconnect?
Well, that's kind of what so exactly. So Mark Cuban came in, so Elon said this, DEI is just another word for racism.
Right.
Shame on anyone who uses it.
Yeah, that's a stretch.
A stretch. So then this is what Mark Cuban said. You want me to read
There's a bunch of these. He wrote a book. He wrote a book too. This is tweet one.
That's right. Right. But actually, I think this is the one that matters. So, I mean, not the other ones didn't, but the fact that he said good businesses look where others don't. Good businesses are always looking for where there's a hole or a gap to, you know what I mean? And so he said the loss of DEI phobic companies is my gain. Anyway, it was real. I felt like his intent of replying to such like that had shock value when Elon said that. Like DEI is racism.
Right.
What? What? Okay. So it seemed like he was trying to add some sense, to the conversation and explain why this is a worthy mission.
Right, and you also have to have seen Elon. So he's a shock value tweeter.
Yeah.
Check this out, just real quick. I'm gonna go to his page.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna show you what Elon tweets.
Why do you think he refers to himself as the chief troll officer?
Because he is. When I scroll,
So do you think that he's doing this on purpose to generate?
I think partially there's some like little laughing boy in this. I'll be real, because like, all right, you have this stuff like this. He's letting it be known that he is hyper aware of what's going on. Like, he literally look at this. He is aware that any tweet that he responds to is going to be amplified to the everything degree. It's his application. And so the CEO of this company has a meme page, guys. It's basically what this is what a burner page looks like for a regular person.
It really does.
And so that's hilarious. So yeah, this is just how he tweets.
Okay.
I don't think he gives a shit, because his response was what? When are you gonna like hire an Asian woman to play?
Right. Well, he said, go to his reply. Oh, you gotta log in.
All right, let me just jump off the screen right quick.
Yeah, but so Mark Cuban said all those like points, key points, and Elon responds with something to the tune of, when are you gonna hire short Asian women for the Mavs?
Which is a Elon ass response. And it's like, what do you say to that? I think Mark even like invited him to debate about it.
Mm-hmm. Why is everybody always trying to fight with him publicly?
Elon?
Yeah.
I mean, it's easy PR, hell. But it's my password.
It's all good.
See, this is what happens when you get kicked off a platform, barely use it.
Hold on.
Oh. This must not be the password.
Yeah.
Whatever.
No, we're all set. So,
yeah.
So here's my thing. Why do you think? So, like Mark Cuban says these obvious responses, and then he just continues to stay in the immature wavelength, and like, okay, well, when are you going to hire a short Asian woman to the Mavs?
Right. What was I want to see what was Mark's response to that?
Well, so I was actually going to look on my phone too, because in the last couple of days there's been some more turmoil to where eventually Mark Cuban then called Elon Musk racist.
I saw.
Yeah.
Now I don't think Elon's racist. I will say I'm reading the book right now, the autobiography, the big thick black one with his face in front, and I reached far enough to where I've read about him coming to the West, like for good. And so you do have a guy who didn't really experience America till his early 20s. He was in Canada for the last bit of his teens just to get here.
And where was he originally? It was from
South America. He was in.
Or is it South Africa?
I mean Africa. Sorry, South Africa.
Yeah.
It slips my mind what part, but yeah, South Africa. It's where the white Africans are.
Yeah, he was kind of born and raised.
Yeah, and that's kind of where he spent all his time.
And then he moved to Canada, and then came to
America. He went to college. He went to college up north. He went to college in.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah, well, in New York.
And yeah, and so on and so forth. Yeah. Okay, so do you think he's just missing context? Why take this stance?
He lacks that perspective.
Why take this stance though? Obviously, someone like Elon Musk has incredible amounts of resources and advisors and people in his ear that would coach him to not engage in something like this. So why do you think he does it anyway?
CTO, Chief Troll Officer.
Is it a joke to him?
And there's also a conversation on the right, I guess, about DEI kind of being a waste of money and being corrupt, and it's conversations that we don't see and engage in every day, but the conversation is bubbling up, and I think it just led to that happening. It's like a legit war on DEI. It's like we have to almost redefine it redo it.
But here's why I think we shouldn't, right? Because that's the fucking point.
Right.
We like DE&I is not supposed to make people comfortable.
Well, it was made to so we wouldn't have to just conform to the workplace.
It's so hard to broaden your perspective. Like if you have always grown up and from start point A to point B to point C, you've always done the same thing and been around the same people, it's incredibly difficult to broaden that perspective.
Right.
It's difficult and it's uncomfortable. It's never meant to make people comfortable. So, you know.
Bro, that's hilarious. Someone says CM Sports is in the game.
Okay. So I guess maybe my point is like, sure, maybe there's been some outcomes that have not been what people would have expected, right? Like maybe there has been people, you know, organizations that have treated DE&I as very much like quota based.
Right, the outcome is definitely the big variable that's making it look bad per se.
But if you can honestly sit there and read the definition of what diversity, equity, and inclusion is, and honestly say
and you can't call it racist for one.
Well, and say people don't deserve that.
Right.
I think you need to look inside yourself.
But I'm not even surprised because like we're in America. America gets more and more divided each year. And you do see these dense comments to where you know that perspective is missing. But you can't tell them that. It's what they know and what they've seen, what their tunnel vision is what's fact. Like what you say, it's almost like they can't even fucking process it.
Right. And I feel like it's actually quite manipulative for someone of Elon Musk's, you know, stature to say something in such plain language with knowing that the masses aren't going to dig into the layers of what DE&I is and what it represents.
You're going to have to find some dedicated people who that's just what they do.
Well, but what I'm saying is for him to say that, like, just this blanket statement, knowing that the masses are going to take it and run with it, that is incredibly disappointing to me.
Disappointing and frustrating.
How are we supposed to trust you with the artificial intelligence that's going to eventually train itself?
That's where I want to go with this. This is where I think we're at a point in history where DE&I left and came back. Okay. but with DE&I, what was I getting at with this? I got distracted.
Yeah, just keep
tech.
Yeah.
We're at a point in history where we're kind of, big tipping point. There has to be more diversity in tech. Tech for over a decade. It's almost impressive how long we've been seeing TED Talks about the diversity gap in tech.
Yeah.
And how scary is it that data can just stay skewed?
Yeah.
Data can just stay it's already they're saying pretty much that like, okay, the data is already showing that once upon a time, way more white folks got loans than black folks. Perfect example. So an AI who doesn't have a heart, a soul, looks at that and goes, all right, well shit, then I should turn down more of you and give more of you loans. And I know that's like not what's gonna like happen per se. That example just depicts it. We have to get more ideas, more people in tech. Otherwise, it's not gonna be pretty.
It'll be skewed. It'll continue. It'll be more of the same, but actually exponentially more of the same. You know, and so like I completely agree. You know, there is people who still to this day see DE&I as black people and women
getting black people jobs they don't deserve.
Yes, like grow up, move on. Like this needs to happen.
Right.
This world, we all deserve a diverse range of perspective in the workplace, in technology. As you grow and evolve, we all deserve to be able to provide inputs.
Right. And so then let's talk about just the pool of candidates in the first place. Do you think that a part of the problem is there's just way more like white candidates than everybody else?
I won't even venture to go into the intricacies. And it's funny because it was not funny. But I mean, it's interesting because I would say I have been exposed to a number of DE&I initiatives and strategies, so much so that I know nothing, because it's that there's so much depth to it. If you're really, you know, trying to understand it, you know. But if you just want to provide a soundbite, then, you know, you're not helpful.
Well, then, since we just have 10 minutes left, let's talk about. So where I was getting at with that last question is, should DE&I almost, rather than being hired by like a company, it almost sounds like it should be like a department, like a wing of the government. I know that sounds bad.
In many organizations, it is.
Okay.
In many organizations, like so I would say it probably in a lot of places initially started in HR and then branched off into its own, and now it's very much permeated throughout. Like, if you don't have representation of DE&I throughout your organization, you're not doing it right. Like, because you'll be missing things.
Well, we just got a comment in. They rather bring in immigrants on visas instead of hiring Americans.
I mean, that's definitely one perspective. You know, I feel like everybody has their
perspective is ideas. I mean, we just saw the Netherlands calling out for anybody. They're passing out citizenships because they want more ideas. They want more brains. And I get why you would move an immigrant in. I mean, we've seen the test scores over there and test. I mean, it is what it is sometimes.
Yeah.
But,
and I wonder if that was the spirit of the comment. But in any case, I think that's a true point. I think everybody kind of has their truth. You know, I think there's still a significant amount of hiring of Americans, personally.
Oh, yeah.
But I think everybody kind of has their own perception.
Right. And then kind of the reason I mentioned should it be like a government thing is because is it almost we should create more high-value, diverse candidates?
Well, I mean, organizations that do DE&I well are.
Okay.
So they're tapping into their you know, places where they're going and doing recruiting and developing relationships with professors and you know, hosting sessions and you know, different events to develop the candidate pool so that they're ready to, you know, move into an organization properly, you know, and do a good job. Because see, a lot of folks focus on DE&I as it relates to recruiting, right? And like bringing in, but that DE&I still continues as you're still part of an organization. It's still about making sure you have equitable treatment and that you feel included, you know?
So do you think DE&I only exists as a way to try to like put a Band-Aid on the systemic like scars of America? Or do you think it'll something, or is it something that one day we'll just have right and we won't need it and we just do it the correct way?
I don't know. I mean, I think both are probably true, you know, but what I think probably does need to happen is we need to take a step back and remember what the mission is, you know. And the thing is not, you're never gonna make everybody happy. That's just what it is. People are always gonna be mad. People are always gonna hate about certain things. So, you know, they can wallow themselves. The problem is when people like Elon Musk stir that pot. He has way too much like notoriety to kind of do I mean, without repercussions.
How much of this do you think is like Asperger's?
You know, I mean, but I guess where I feel like I don't understand is there's too many resources around him to allow for that to be perpetuated, but yet it still gets perpetuated. Well,
I feel like Elon is the type of guy who it doesn't matter who he's around, it's his say. That's the type of environment it sounds like he kind of runs.
It kind of reminds me, though, of like literally just this Sunday when we was at church at 12 Stone. And they, you know, it's like he drew the kind of the Venn diagram of like, intellect, mind, and your soul. I mean, your body and soul. So that intersection is really where you're trying to be. You can't be all in intellect. Because if you are missing perspective. And that's just
retention of facts. And his brain's just very good at that.
Yeah. And I mean, obviously, like, it's not like we know Elon Musk or anything, but
right.
It does seem like maybe.
I will say everything I'm saying is based on the biography. So no, I don't know him. If the book isn't capping, then yeah,
that's maybe this kind of maybe helps explain, but it's no explanation because it's just like, you have too many people around you to just kind of push things that stir the pot like that. It's just it's I hate to say irresponsible. It's disappointing.
Yeah,
it's disappointing to me.
Right, because he's the literal richest man on the planet.
Like, what are we doing?
Right.
What is wrong with the concept of DE&I?
But what can squash this is if, as a part of our mission is, I feel like right now, how things are overcorrecting. I think we just need to create qualified, diverse candidates, starting with the kids.
They're already there. I mean, there are so many qualified candidates, and I think we need to continue that.
Right. No, I said I want to
make that the expectation.
Right. I want to amplify it and pretty much make it where it's no contest. I'm tired of hearing it be like zero sum. If the black guy gets it, that means the white guy is not. It's like I would love to create in America a world where the candidacy pool is legit a mixing pot.
Yeah.
And where it's the hires are undeniable. No one can say they're only there because of XYZ. No one can say they only won because they're a woman. If we just have, which I guess even if we do, I guess how would they know?
I would almost love for it to be like, you know what? Yes, we hired you because you're a woman, because you bring you bring a diverse perspective.
Now, I will say yes,
that we need in this group, and here's how we're because this is what makes you comfortable. This is what we're going to do. I almost feel like that would be more.
You have a point.
Open.
Great point. Yeah.
Obviously, ideal state. No, we could never reach ideal
If you
state.
say we have like a board of 6 dudes. And like the CEO was legit saying, guys, I would love to have a seat with more perspective at the table.
Yeah.
Then, yeah, of course. Yeah. That shouldn't be labeled as, what? Yeah, not excluding dudes now? Like, no. I think that's valid. It's perfectly valid.
Yeah, of course. And so, yeah, but I mean, hopefully as a country, we start to, I mean, it's just, we're at the crux of so many different things. So many things
That's
are changing.
The reason the division is here. There's a lot of change happening. Yeah. There's a lot of different, policies being changed. Whenever there's change, somebody's pissed. But also someone's grateful.
Whenever there is change, somebody is pissed. And whenever there are people that are different in the same space, there is going to be problems.
Right. And, one reason DE&I exists is the fact of the matter is, especially for any type of job that's like an agent of anything.
Right.
Those are recruiting jobs. You probably recruited another you to come on board, and that person recruited another them, and so on and so forth. It just kind of happens.
Right.
And you usually have to have a third party to say, hey, just saying, you're all Chads. You need to get some Dikembes, you know what I'm saying? You need to get some Laurens up in here.
Yeah, exactly. So, Elon.
I respect you a lot, but this one was this is an
Come
L.
on. Yeah,
big L.
We expect more of you.
Mark, I hope he accepts the debate, and I hope Mark digs into him. Like I said, respect Elon, but this is a debate that ain't it. It's not. But yeah, we gotta go to bed, y'all.
I'm tired.
We got shit to do tomorrow.
Absolutely.
So, we're gonna try to be on earlier next time, but no promises on what time. If you enjoyed it,
what should we talk about
say
next?
so. What do you want? What do y'all think we should talk about next? What's a cool topic?
I'm about to talk about
that's like comment worthy.
I'm going to talk about these eyelids. That's what I'm about to do. It's time to shut it down.
I think it's time to shut it down. All right. Well, the comments have gone quiet. So, until next time. Peace.
Okay.